Capital City Sunday.
Black voters across key swing states like Wisconsin will play a critical role in bolstering the margin of victory in this year's presidential race. Texas Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett was in Milwaukee on Sunday campaigning for the Harris-Walz ticket. Joining me on the show this morning is Representative Jasmine Crockett of Texas and the national co-chair for the Harris campaign. Representative Crockett, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Representative Crockett, you were in Milwaukee this past week campaigning for the vice president. Can you talk about how critical the black vote will be across battleground states like Wisconsin?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, when we think about the areas that we're going to be looking for to see if turnout was up or down, or if it just kind of held steady, that usually kind of gives us an idea of how well we may or may not be doing. You know, we've had an opportunity to definitely study Wisconsin for these last two big electoral fights that they had. Obviously, y'all came out, y'all showed out and made sure that the Supreme Court in Wisconsin was going to be protected. But even if we go back to that amazing Senate race, it was so close. Mandela Barnes was only less than 2 points away from becoming y'all's senator. So we know what the trends look like, and we know whether or not we've had a good or bad day if we start to look at the areas in which African Americans are populated and whether or not they turned out.
Vice President Harris's support has increased across national polling, and while we do know that those numbers can fluctuate and change, she leads former President Donald Trump across 5 of the 7 key swing states in this election. But new data from the NAACP does show that more young black men are supporting former President Donald Trump. Will this be an issue for the Harris campaign, and is there an approach to appeal to this voting bloc?
Yeah, you know, we've definitely been trying to delve into what does black male support look like. Is it a matter of what we hear being reported out consistently? Are we talking about people that are inclined to vote, or are we talking about people that are registered to vote? You know, we're looking at all those things, but at the end of the day, whether it's somebody that we anticipate will actually show up to the polls or not, I think it's important that we make sure that we get our messaging across to this demographic. I mean, every time that I've had an opportunity to have conversations, those conversations have been fruitful and have been full of education. I think that there are a lot of misconceptions out there and just a lot of things that we need to make sure that we highlight. You know, considering the fact that Donald Trump absolutely believes that there should be police immunity when it comes to the criminality of someone engaging in a police shooting. You know, I think that that's a really big issue that hasn't been highlighted, or some of the other issues that exist in Project 2025 as a whole.
And we know that black voters are not a monolith. When you look at some of those subsets, historically black colleges and universities, black sororities and fraternities, how are these coalitions of voters impacting the presidential race?
Yeah, I think that they are going to have an outspoken impact. You know, this is the first time that someone is a member of a sorority or a fraternity, a historically black sorority or fraternity, that will be potentially ascending to the presidency. So it's a big day. I mean, when you look at the foundation of all of our organizations, they were all born out of some sort of social action. And so it is a big part of who we are, those of us that are members of sororities and fraternities. But in addition to that, I mean, an HBCU grad, we've never seen that either. And so I do think that they will play an oversized role, unlike anything that we've ever seen. You know, and even when we look at some of these special elections that have taken place, whether they've been for House races or whether they've been for some of these mayorals, we are seeing a trend in which Democrats are overperforming. And so I don't want to get anyone's hopes up, but I can say that honestly, the biggest motivator beyond everything that we just talked about potentially is the Dobbs decision. The Dobbs decision, honestly, to my surprise, has been something that has been a motivator for voters across the board, whether it was ballot initiatives or whether it's about switching your representation to someone that you truly feel like will look out for your life if you are pregnant and have complications of some sort.
Representative Jasmine Crockett, National Co-Chair for the Harris campaign. Representative Crockett, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.